Here I am here live, Pro Wrestling Syndicate in Rahway, New Jersey, with famous wrestling fan, The Wizard, Bob Puglisi. Puglisi?
That's right.
Puglisi? No, I'm not saying that right. How do you say it?
Puglisi.
Puglisi. Why are you here, Bob? What are you here to say?
Prince of the World, Brian Myers.
It's the Prince of Queens, Brian Myers. You messed that one up. Try again. Just got to JCW, Jersey Championship Wrestling. As you can see, they're building the ring for tonight's show. Should be a fun one. I actually got a couple of my students booked in the show. They'll be having a tag match. Some of them, most of them have been with me since scratch. So when I opened Toyota Pro in late March, they began training. You know, this is their first kind of like outside booking, so it should be exciting, fun. Exciting for me in a different way, you know, kind of like a proud dad. We'll see how it goes. Just got in from JCW. It was a fun night. Students did great. I was really proud of them. It's cool. Cool moment for me. I think cool moment for them. So it was cool to see something like that. A lot of hard work, you know, coming together. Seeing Tatanka was unreal. He still like busts his ass. He's 53 and he went balls to the wall in the main event. It's cool to see guys like, you know, not just mail it in and still want it and still want to contribute and do the best they can. That's pretty badass. Tomorrow's a big day. Picking up Jerry Lynn pretty early in the morning at the airport. And it starts at Creative Pro Wrestling where he's doing a clinic. And then on to PWS. So stay tuned. My hair is pretty nuts these days. Good night.
I learned this from Bear Bumrowski. I'm aging myself here. Like he said, I was in a bear hug one time.
And how it should really be done. It's very difficult. And as the years went by, it was probably about a good 8, 9 years in for me. And you know, I always knew.
To Death Steve Williams, original.
Alright, I'm here with the legendary Jerry Lynn, one of my absolute favorite wrestlers of all time.
Oh, come on, you tell all the guys that.
No, I really don't. That's the God's honest truth. So you've been out wrestling, what, a year and a half now?
Yeah.
Retired? Do you miss it? And I'm assuming the answer is yes. And when it is yes, what do you miss the most?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. I don't miss hitting that mat. When I see some of the guys tonight hitting the mat, I cringe. I just like, oh. So I don't miss hitting the mat. But this is only my 3rd gig since retirement, and you forget. I guess you kind of take it for granted too after being on the road for so many years. I saw some fans tonight that I have known that I first met back in like the mid '90s.
Oh wow!
So, and I've always said it, and I'll say it again. Every show is like a family reunion.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so many of the guys that I've known you for a long time. He's from the NYWC days and stuff, and
did a clinic about 10 years ago.
Yeah, and so you see a lot of the guys that they're almost like my kids on the road, watching them grow up. You know,
it's gotta be cool.
It is. It is. So Yeah, I miss that part about the business, seeing the camaraderie and seeing all the boys and seeing the fans that you've seen for years. My case, decades.
All right, last question. I'll let you go. A little bit of a Markish question here. Give me the history behind the Jerry Lynn tights that you wore in ECW for the most of your run. They weren't like, they were kind of loose fitting, but they somehow you pulled it off and it was real cool. And they were kind of looked like the JL tights, but they weren't. I want to say. Then Kid Cash wound up wearing them years later. I never understood that. Like, how did that all come about?
The JL tights?
Well, I guess they were JL tights, right?
Yeah, the little
but they were
kinda
like loose fitting ones.
Well, they were made with a shiny fabric, but they weren't spandex, so they had to be a little loose so I could at least bend my knees and stuff. And then with the design on the outside, I had to wear my knee pads underneath so you could see the design.
Yeah.
So I had to have them a little loose, but I liked how shiny they were.
Yeah. There's something about them that always stood out to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans will
And
think
it was
that.
sort of a takeoff on the old Mr. JL outfit. And I just liked the design, so I thought, well, I'll just get it made in some different colors.
What are the Japanese writing on this? What did that? Do you know what that meant?
It's absolutely nothing.
Really?
It's supposed to look like alien writing.
Got
So
it.
it was meant absolutely nothing. It was gibberish.
And then how did Cash end up wearing them?
He liked the tights, and he asked me if he could buy a pair of them one
Oh, you said-
time.
oh,
And
you
I said sure.
Oh my God! Really?
So
Okay, cool.
I gave him the good buddy discount.
I ripped
But,
up the design on a pair the guy's making me right now.
Oh.
It's the exact design, but he's doing it in New York Met colors, the orange,
Okay,
the
yeah.
orange and blue. So.
But I just liked
sure
the
he saw you
material
in
because
that.
it was really shiny.
Yeah, something about him always stood out. So I
Yeah.
want to get that in, even though it's no relevance to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Cool. All right, finally home and showered and stuff. Kick-ass weekend. Pretty much spent like the whole day with Jerry Lynn, and you'll see in that interview I did. Like I wasn't kidding. He really is like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and he's one of those guys that isn't a letdown. He lives up to the hype, and he's just such a great guy. So it was awesome to see him. I spent the whole day with him. The clinic, JCW Friday night, and of course PWS, which is my home in Rahway tonight. So it was awesome, man. I love my match tonight. We had like a traditional Survivor Series match I've never done before. I thought it was a blast. Thought everyone in it kicked ass and did their parts the best they could, and it was real entertaining. So that's it for this weekend. Next week's episode is gonna be a little delayed. I'm actually going to Europe for a tour, so by the time you get all the footage and stuff, I'm sure I'm gonna get a ton in the UK and whatnot. I'll post that up, and should be really cool. A little bit of Brian Myers' European vacation. So, till next time, peace.